So, we just got our hands on the new Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds, the second version, and these things, honestly, especially coming from an AirPods Pro user, these things are an absolute game changer from a sound quality perspective. So without further ado, let's talk about the ins and outs of these headphones and see if it's a valid replacement, especially for an iOS and Apple user that's so locked into that ecosystem. But let's talk about it. So let's quickly talk about the design of these earbuds and the case itself. And I will be mostly comparing it to the AirPods Pro, that's just because those are the ones that I personally use on a day-to-day basis, but this is not a full comparison video of these two headphones. But the case itself is a little bit bigger than what we're used to, especially with the AirPods Pro case. So I would say it's about 1.5 times the size of an AirPods Pro case, so it's a little bit thicker, a little bit longer, and a little bit wider overall, but it does still feel very light in the hand. So from a weight perspective, honestly I think the AirPods Pro are a little bit heavier just because everything is so condensed in there, versus on the Bose QC earbuds, the case itself is relatively light. And just so everybody's aware, in the actual box itself, the retail packaging, all you get is the paperwork, the headphones themselves, some interchangeable ear tips and ear wings, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and then a USB-C to USB-C cable. There is no power brick in the actual box itself, so keep that in mind. Now let's quickly talk about battery life for these Bose headphones. I've been using these on a daily basis for the last 10 days or so, walking around New York with them, going through the subway, on my commutes and things like that. And from a battery standpoint, it's lasted as much as I needed to and then some. So it is rated for 6 hours of battery life on the headphones themselves. You get an extra 18 hours of battery with the case itself, so in total you'll get 24 hours of battery life on a full charge, and if you're in a pinch, you can get up to 2 hours of listening time with a quick 20-minute top-off of the case itself. So that's always good to know that if you are in a situation where you need to quickly charge the headphones themselves, you can get a full 2 hours by just plugging it in for 20 minutes, so that is what you get from a battery standpoint with these Bose headphones. So before we get into the sound quality of these Bose headphones, because that is an amazing feature of these headphones and it is the selling point of these headphones, let's talk about the actual fit and finish of the actual earbuds in the ear themselves, because if they don't fit correctly, then you're not going to get the best sound quality. So this is actually the first pair of headphones, or earbuds at least, that Bose is shipping with its Bose Fit Kit. So in this Bose Fit Kit, you get different earbud sizes, so little silicone tips that go in the ear itself, and then 3 different sizes of what they're calling stability bands. And these stability bands are very similar to like wing tips, but much more subtle. So it's kind of like a secondary cap in the ear. So with the silicone tips, when you put them in the ear for these headphones and any other headphones that has silicone tips, they're there to block out noise and to make a good seal on the ear canal itself. But with the addition of these stability bands, it's kind of like a second layer that goes on the more outer edge of the ear canal to give you a second layer of seal in the ear canal itself, which I think is a great idea, and I think more companies should implement this, because even in the regular mode, and we'll talk about the different modes that it does bring in the software itself, but in the regular mode, it drowns out a lot of noise because of that secondary seal, which a lot of headphones don't have right now. And the earbuds themselves, they are a little bit on the bigger side compared to the AirPods Pro, but they're not that much bigger, and they're very light in your ear. You like barely feel them in your ear when they're in there, and for my scientific shake tests, they stay in the ear. I have worked out with them a couple of times, and they are water and dust resistant and sweat resistant for that fact, and they are rated at IPX4 in terms of water resistance and waterproofing. So if you are working out with them, if you are in the rain with them, you should be good to go, no worries on that part. And then in terms of controls on the actual earbuds themselves, it's very self-explanatory, and if you're familiar with Bluetooth headphones, you'll be very familiar with these. So it's a single tap to play and pause, a double tap to move forward, a triple tap to move backwards, and then they do have the gestures to volume up and volume down, which is great to have. So if you swipe up, you get volume up. If you swipe down, you get volume down. And as long as your fingers are kind of smooth and you don't have any like residue or stickiness on there, it works very well. It's only when like my fingers are a little bit too sweaty or maybe clammy, for lack of a better term, that it kind of sticks whenever I'm moving up, and then sometimes it doesn't put the volume up. For I would say 90 to 95% of the time, those gesture controls do work. And then inside of the application itself, you do have the ability to actually change in terms of what you want the long hold to do. So by default, it's going to switch between aware mode and noise canceling mode, but you can also change it, and you can change it depending on what ear you do it on. So by default on both ears, if you long press on the actual headphones themselves, it'll toggle between aware mode and noise cancellation mode. And then if you want to change it up, you can actually long hold and long press to bring up whatever assistant you're using. So either Siri, Google Assistant, or Bixby, or whatever else is out there. But it's usually between Google Assistant and Siri. So now let's talk about sound quality and the experience overall with the application and the headphones, because that's what makes these Bose headphones kind of on a next level when compared to the rest of the competition. So when you do get these headphones, the first thing that happens is when you put the headphones in, there's a little chime that happens, and that's what's known as their new custom tuning and tailor-made kind of listening technology. So with this little chime that pings on each ear, apparently it's sending waves into the ear canal and mapping your ear canal, because everybody's ear canals are different and headphones shouldn't be a one size fits all. So when that does happen, it kind of makes the sound quality and the sound sphere to make sure that you get the best noise cancellation and the best transparency mode possible depending on your ear canal shape and size. So once your custom tuning is all set up, the rest of it is pretty self-explanatory, right? You have two main modes with this headphone, and the best way to actually control the headphones themselves is to download the Bose app. The Bose app is actually amazing. So in those two different modes, you have the noise cancellation mode and the aware mode. Aware mode is very, very similar to transparency mode, and then the noise cancellation is again for noise cancellation. And that is where Bose really starts to flex their muscles with the noise cancellation, because they've been doing it for a very long time. And again, maybe it's because I've been in the Apple walled garden for a long time and I never really look anywhere else when it comes to headphones but the AirPods Pro. So when I put these Bose headphones on and I turned on noise cancellation and I maxed out the noise cancellation, I was absolutely astounded at how good everything sounds. Not only from a sound quality standpoint, but from an overall noise cancellation standpoint. So it does cancel out pretty much everything that you throw at it. Even with the high-pitched noises, maybe like an ambulance going by, or a needle dropping, or a jackhammer through a construction site, those noises, those high-pitched noises that usually come through even when noise cancellation is on, they get washed out, which is absolutely incredible. And then the sound quality itself, it is as bassy as you want it to be, the mids are right there, it is as high quality as you want it to be on the actual treble as well, and you have an equalizer to match how you want your sound to be. So I always have my bass a little bit higher, just because of the type of music that I'm listening to, and you really, really feel it. It's like you have real headphones in your ear, which is a weird way to compare them. But the AirPods Pro, when I first got them, I thought they were great, of course, with active noise cancellation, and I thought that was already in a league of its own, but it's not until you go to a company that literally focuses on nothing but sound quality that you really understand, like, wow, now I get why Bose is around and why Bose is there. It's because their sound quality is amazing. And then same thing goes with the aware mode. So the aware mode, what they wanted to do with aware mode was to make it seem like you didn't have anything in your ear when you are in aware mode in that transparency mode. It works exactly as you expect it to. It doesn't feel like you have your headphones in your ear at all. Everything is very clear and concise, but keep in mind, this is not to amplify the stuff around you. This is just a pure awareness mode, and it's as if you don't have anything on and you'll be able to hear everything with or without them. And then there are different levels of transparency and noise cancellation mode. I do wish they added a toggle or kind of like a slider for you to be able to do that in real time, but the only way to adjust that is to set different listening modes. So you can set up to 4 different listening modes. By default, it has the aware and the active noise cancellation, and then I also inputted a commute mode. So when you set up those modes, then you're able to kind of configure how much noise cancellation you want, how much transparency you want, but that is the only way to actually configure those settings. But overall, from a sound quality standpoint, these are much better than AirPods, in my opinion. Way better from a sound quality standpoint, no matter what kind of music you listen to, whether it's classical music, or hardcore rap, or country, or soft R&B, it kind of matches everything that you want it to. And it also sounds great with just voice, which is things that I listen to a lot, like podcasts. So when I'm listening to podcasts, it's very clear, very concise, and it feels like I'm actually there. And the last two things that I do want to mention about these headphones is that A, it does not have wireless charging, which I actually didn't know that until I tried to wirelessly charge it. And then I went to the website and found out that it does not have wireless charging. So if you need wireless charging on your headphone case, these won't be for you. But again, it does charge via USB-C. And then the last thing I will mention is, what is the price? Leave a comment down below if you guys want to guess what the price is, but these will be for $299, which I think is a very fair price, because the competitors are, you have the AirPods Pro at $250, and we still haven't tested the AirPods Pro 2, so maybe after the AirPods Pro 2 come out, I'll have a different story, but I will be making a comparison video between these and the AirPods Pro 2 when they do release, because I am curious to see what Apple does with the new version of the AirPods Pro. But shout out to Bose for sending this over. I will link this down in the description below if you guys do want to check them out. But even though Bose did send these over, these are my honest opinions, my honest review. They do not get a copy of this video before it releases, so keep that in mind. But if you guys did make it to the end of the video, leave a little dolphin in the comments down below so I know that you made it to the end. And also leave a comment down below if you are in the Apple ecosystem like I am, right? iPhone, iPad, MacBook, AirPods, Apple Watch, HomePod, AirTags, the list goes on and on. Would you consider getting a pair of headphones like the Bose headphones? Would you consider leaving the Apple ecosystem when it comes to accessory stuff, right? Like AirTags, like headphones. I'm always curious to know what your thoughts are on that subject, because the Apple ecosystem does make life a little bit easier, but sometimes you do give up on that quality, especially when it comes to sound quality. But that's gonna do it, everybody. If you guys wanna check out some more coverage on iOS 16 and then the new iPhones coming out, click on one of these videos right here. But until next time, I'm Fernando, and I'm out of here. Peace. These things are pretty good, honestly. I like them a lot.